Hi, thanks so much, Reynolds. America's Morning Headquarters here for you on this Friday as we head through the end of this week, getting you ready here for this big storm for the weekend.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. We'll break down some of the snowfall amounts, the timing for some cities, and of course, the wind and the blizzard conditions. We have brought in our expert, Dr. Greg Postel, in the lab to tell us about the big deal about the storm's path.
Yes, with each passing model run that comes in, with each passing...
It's a good old-fashioned snowstorm, like you love and hate, because we know all the problems that come with it, right? The fact that you can get stuck, that you can lose power. Reynolds, today you've got one job, and that's to make sure you have a yardstick, because a ruler is not going to cut it for measuring the snow.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
This is going to be truly a historic event. People are wondering, we've been asked several times today, is this going to rival size? Utilize it in a major way tomorrow, Jen, no doubt.
Yes. All right, Reynolds, thank you. Okay, so let's get into the cold, too. That's a big part of this story because, here's the thing about snowstorms. The cold is like the #1 ingredient.
We got to have that. Otherwise, it's just rain, which is a mess, right? But here it is. Plenty of cold coming. This is where we stand now, and we're starting to see it oozing into the interior. Temperatures now in the teens in Buffalo as well as Burlington, and that cold air is just going to continue to slide its way towards the south and the east.
All right, so it comes in, and it's not even just sliding. It's like just invading. It's coming, barging right in. Temperatures tomorrow morning are in the single digits, sub-zero up there to the north, but you get down all the way to Boston, and by Sunday morning, we are sitting at 12 and maybe even colder.
Yeah, and again, we've got the snow that's going to be out there for you as well. Moving our way into Monday morning, still plenty cold. So again, what's falling? That's not going anywhere anytime soon with temperatures like that.
Yeah, no, the cold is in place. The wind chills will be a factor as well. But, as Alex mentioned, in the short term, it stays cold. It does warm up by Wednesday. We've got temperatures up in the 40s and then 50s by Thursday. With that comes rain. So that's going to make a mess of everything. It also will be a pretty big snow eater, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Another spot that's going to feel it, it's Burlington, 8 degrees. That's your high temperature on Saturday. But even there, we get a chance to warm up into the 30s once we get into the early to mid part of next week.
All right, so that's what's happening when it comes to temperatures. Let's talk the wind chills, because this is what matters, right? This is what it feels like outside. This is why you don't want to travel, so that you don't risk getting stuck in these conditions. We've got the feels like sub-zero all throughout this entire region pretty much here Saturday into Sunday.
Yeah, this is brutal cold to be out and about, and you just don't want to be out there, right? Staying inside, stay in the heat. Hopefully the power doesn't go out and you have to deal with that, because again, very cold temperatures, even beyond once the snow is gone and falling, we do have that cold sticking around for your Monday morning.
All right, so the cold goes south all the way down to South Florida. We've got those numbers for you coming up. And let's take you to...
Very quickly.
Yes, especially with the lake effect.
Well, speaking of happening quickly, we're going to be watching this big storm start to wind up quickly this afternoon and into this evening off the East Coast, then working northbound, and it's going to dump quite a bit of snow in some areas.
Yeah, and so we're going to take you up and down the coast and talk about it, because Mid-Atlantic involved in this too for the third weekend in a row now. North Carolina, you're like, wait, what? I have to worry about snow again? Yes, we're going to talk about, the differences this time and what we're going to be dealing with. Let me take you out to the maps, and I'll show you what we're going to find here as we do see winter weather advisories that are posted all throughout parts of the Northeast. Here's our storm. This is going to get going overnight tonight. The low will start its development today, but when you wake up tomorrow morning, if you sleep through the night, wait till you see this low pressure waiting for you tomorrow, and it continues to bomb out. We're expecting bombogenesis, where it drops more than 24 millibars in 24 hours, a really strong low off the coast. That's why blizzard warnings are posted. That's the pink. That's in 8 states. We've got the winter weather advisories that are up. West Virginia, most of Virginia, North Carolina, and even South Carolina even, and Kentucky too. There's 2 things at play here for that winter weather. One is there's a front or western mid-level trough coming through, and that is bringing some snow. But the big deal is our coastal storm, and that's what's going to be bringing us the potentially feet of snow, the blizzard conditions, winds in excess of 35 miles per hour, visibility less than a quarter of a mile, lasting for hours. In fact, if it lasts for 3 hours, that is what makes it a blizzard. So taking you into that forecast for Friday, starting here today, this first initial batch of snow is really just the clipper, the front coming through, right? Okay, so we get that through into D.C. and Northern Virginia. That's the reason why you get some snow. And that won't be as heavy as what comes from this, the coastal storm. And that happens overnight tomorrow morning. You wake up, it's snowing, Philly, New York City, Long Island. You guys really, I think, get into some bigger snow watching what happens here for you across Rhode Island, Providence, Newport, and then, of course, Boston. You've been, in the center of it all. We have an area of about 1 to 3 inches of snow across Virginia, about an inch or so across parts of North Carolina, the Piedmont, the Sandhills. But I'll tell you, there may be a few spots that do get a little bit more, maybe up to 3. That would be sort of the highest end of the deal. Still slick on roads because temperatures do get cold. But what we have here along the top end of the I-95 is going to be, so much snow that the plows just can't keep up, Alex. I mean, they have all the snow equipment they need. It's just when it snows this heavy, it's impossible.
It becomes impossible. So you're staying home, let them do what they need to do.
Exactly.
That's going to be the best thing.
So
wow, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that far south.
Yeah.
So yeah, wait till we show you how cold the air that we're going to bring over top of that. So here's a look right now at the advisories that are up for Florida. In the Panhandle, we've got a hard freeze watch. You guys are going to have to make sure that your pipes are, open up those cabinets so that you let some warm air circulate in there, the dripping, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get freeze watches extending all the way down to just south of Lake Okeechobee. Let's talk about those temperatures because Sunday afternoon, we've got potential record cold highs. You tend to think, okay, things are going to warm up into the afternoon, and they will, but not a whole lot. Look at the values we'll find, 50s and 60s.
I know the folks in Minneapolis are laughing right now. Like right. 60s, yes, this is a big deal. In fact, we could be setting some record cool maxes like Miami 61, the forecast 60 to beat, but Key West, 58 degrees. That's it for the high temperature.
Yeah, that's a chilly time. I know folks like to get out and bike there in the Key West. This may not be the day there, particularly for the folks who live there. 58. Yeah, that's going to be a cold.
There's a wind chill factor.
Yeah.
All right, so then the numbers in the morning, this is probably even the bigger deal because look how cold it gets. Miami, the record to beat is 36. We're going to 38, and going sub 40 is notable because that does not happen every year.
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, if it's going to get this cold, let's just go ahead and break the record, right?
Oh, I always say that, yes. Fort Myers will. We're going to 31. The record to beat is 35.
All right, so yeah, it has been some time since we've dealt with temperatures this cold. Jacksonville forecasting on Sunday morning 24, coldest since 2015. They're in February. Orlando 31 on Sunday morning. It's coldest since 2018.
Miami, you're going to be the coldest in more than a decade, since 2010. In 11 years, that's how cold it is going to be.
Amazing, amazing. All right, so we'll start to see things coming in here. Now today, on the milder side, but you will notice the blue shades really starting to take over now. Saturday morning, we got 20s across North Florida, and then Sunday morning, we see those numbers drop even more across the rest of the peninsula.
And, it's going to be a chilly one for you throughout the afternoon on Sunday. Again, afternoon temperatures are going to be chilly. Overnight, let's say it's rebounding. It's not going to be as cold Monday morning. Sunday by far is coldest morning and afternoon.
Meanwhile, we head farther north, and we'll also deal with the cold because, again, this is where it's coming from, right? So as we head through this afternoon and certainly getting into the weekend, look at the values here. This is Saturday morning wind chills, Nashville, single digits. Wouldn't be surprised to see some of the suburbs in places like Atlanta, Birmingham drop into the single digits too.
All right, now as we talk about the snow happening in the north, we've been telling you about this tight gradient we're going to have. We'll go from some areas that get, more than a foot or even 2 feet of snow to much less and maybe even nothing. So with that, do you get sad? Definitely going to be, put the soup in the crock pot kind of weekend and just stay inside. Reynolds,
No doubt.
thank you. I mean, look, we are going to be watching so much snow happen in a short period of time that it's going to be impossible to keep the roads clear.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of plows up there, but when it's snowing at an inch or 2 or maybe more per hour, it's tough to keep clear.
It really is. So that's one of the concerns. The other, of course, the cold that's going to be around as well, which is going to keep a lot of this around even once it is all done with here for us. So here's where we stand right now. And yeah, we got some colder numbers here back through the interior. Teens to show up there, but it's low 30s, low to mid 30s for the East Coast down into the mid-Atlantic. But Jen, that is expected to change.
Okay, so get ready. You can watch the cold air come in. Watch this purple up here on the map. See how it just kind of oozes in. I mean, like, it doesn't even knock. It just comes barging right in, actually, as we get into the weekend.
Yeah, it kicks the door in, that's for sure, and it's going to be around for a bit. Heading into Sunday morning, again, still pretty cold, single digits and teens to deal with here across the board. And again, a lot of these areas will have that snowpack that'll also make it just feel that much colder in these areas.
Yes. All right, so let's take you into your Sunday and then Monday. It stays cold. You're wondering how long is the snow going to stick around? Well, yes, Monday. I mean, because this is the temperature Monday morning. Look at these single digits all throughout at least the northern part of the Northeast.
Yeah, and Boston for you, you know, your average high is about 37 degrees, and we will be dropping below that here as we head on through the weekend. But there's some brighter times ahead.
Yes.
You can see for next week, Wednesday into Thursday, 40s and 50s.
The thing is that also comes with rain, so it's going to make a mess of things by then. But yeah, so we do have a slight warm up coming as we get into the end of next week. Burlington, Vermont also shows that pretty well, where we've got the Arctic air in place. Saturday's going to be our cold day with a high temperature in the single digits. Oof. That's pretty brutal. But then by the time we get to Groundhog Day on Wednesday, our temps in the upper 30s.
Starting to warm up a little bit there. All right, so that was actual temps. How about the wind chills? What's it going to feel like out there for you? Again, of course, it's going to be much, much colder in terms of feel like numbers Saturday morning, 23 below in Caribou, and you're right in that range in Burlington.
All right, it's not going to take a lot of wind, but we're going to have a lot of wind to drive down these wind chills. So lots of sub-zero, Portland, Boston, that's how it's going to feel. That's why we don't want you to go out and get stuck, because danger is cold, actually, if you do get stuck outside.
That's a good point there. You don't want to be out in this mess, that is for sure. Taking a look at the rest of the nation here for us, and again, it's not just cold there in the northern tier. We got this cold spreading all the way into the south. I mean, Florida, South Florida is going to get quite cold.
Yeah, we're going to break down those numbers a little bit later in the show. Wait till you see how cold it gets in Miami.